Welcome to What's Happening, where we're live in TV 10 studio with some juicy topics. I'm Ashley Carter.
And I'm Courtney Parker. We would like to also introduce our guest host tonight, Jakia McCrae.
Hey, y'all. And we can't forget to thank our live audience for joining us tonight in the studio.
Actress Sanaa Lathan plays Violet Jones in a Netflix movie. She plays an African-American woman who struggles with finding herself through the insecurities of her hair. Here's what some people at ISU had to say. Netflix has released a film titled Nappily Ever After, which brings forward the discussion of the importance of hair in African-American women.
Some women aren't used to wearing their natural hair, so I feel like hair really defines a woman. It defines their character, like you could just tell. It defines who you are.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is hair?
So I'm gonna say 8.
It's at least a 9.5.
Really close to a 10, maybe a 9.
With hair being so important, it becomes a key identifier for most women. However, there is another question to be asked. Is natural hair truly embraced in society?
Black hair has not been deemed as beautiful, right? And I love the rebellion, the revolt, right, that has happened within the last, I'd say, 10 or so years, at least my knowledge of just deciding that we won't let anybody else define what beauty is for me. So the Western way, the European way has been deemed as what is beautiful as it relates to hair. And so we reject that. Like, I reject that 100%.
Can black women truly love their hair, or will they alter and change it?
Okay, so I feel like everything is a choice. Like, if you want to wear your natural hair and you feel comfortable wearing your natural hair and you love your natural hair, wear your natural hair. If you don't, then, and you want to wear weave, you could do both. Like, I don't understand why it's an issue if people want to wear their natural hair or want to wear weave. You should just do what you want to do.
Hair identity impacts black women more than they might think. It can be something no one would notice until you stop and talk about it. For What's Happening, I'm Courtney Parker. All right, y'all, so let's talk about this a little bit more in depth. What do y'all think about y'all hair? Like, how important is it to y'all?
A 10. My hair is a 10 probably to me. Like, if the hair is not right, then the day probably ain't going right.
I completely agree with you. It has to be like maybe an 11 if that's possible, because like you just don't feel the same. Like, if you know your hair is not done or is at least, so let me ask you, if your hair was not done, you would at least put a hat on, right?
Yeah, I was wearing a hat probably that day.
Why do we care so much?
Okay, well, me personally, I'm a hat type of person. Like, my weave cannot be straightened or done, I'm still gonna throw a hat on. That's just me personally. When my hair is not done and I'm in my natural state, I'm just comfortable with wearing a hat. I do feel like it's your choice though, however you choose to wear your hair. Like, there's been times that I would walk outside with a full fro of hair and just be free that day.
Go to CVS
yeah,
or
just
like that.
Not even that, just don't care. Like, I would just have a free day of me. Like, it's just me. But I think where African American women go wrong is it becomes a necessity. You know, like your weave becomes you, and that's not who you really are. So I think that's where the controversy comes in as well. Why you got weave in your hair? Why you don't wear your natural hair? You know?
How do y'all feel about weave?
I love it.
I love it too. If it's cheap, it's the right price, I love it.
I don't really care about how much I pay for my weave. As long as it look good, I'm good.
That's very true.
I mean, I like it, but it's my choice to wear it. Like the girl said, like, I'm just as comfortable in my weave as I am in my natural hair. Whether it's nappy, curly, straight, wind blowing, flow, fun, and pretty, it's still a part of me. It's not who identifies who I am on the inside and out.
Okay, and then lastly, what about the media? What about the way it portrays hair? What hair should be like? Hair shouldn't be like anything, because we all come in different shapes, forms, sizes, and plenty of stuff like that. But what y'all think?
I think the media makes black women especially think that you have to have straight hair. Your hair needs to be looking right. Like if you have a fro, it's not the right way, basically. Like nobody's gonna like you.
Or if you have a fro, it has to be a certain type of fro.
Yeah, it has to be curly. It can't have naps. Like it has to look real moisturized. But everybody here isn't like that, so.
Well,
Yeah, I think y'all pretty much put the spell on that.
yeah, we got it.
It looks like ISU is getting a new multicultural center. TV 10's Ariel McGee has more on the story.
A new multicultural center will be coming to Illinois State University so students can feel more at home. The multicultural center has been a plan at ISU for several years. The hope is to provide a safe space for students to host different events such as meetings, study sessions, or even just a place for students to bond. ISU students seem to be on board with the program as they give their opinions.
I think it should include like different like culture things, like Hispanic culture, white culture, black culture, like no racism at all involved with it. Just like everybody being able to explore different things. Like I love Hispanic culture even though I'm white, and I love to like learn about it, so that'd be kind of cool.
Having a safe space is important because it allows people to fully be themselves in different environments that are open enough for them.
It's not so as diverse as my high school was, but still diverse in the sense that I'm able to see how other people conduct their lives and like different ideals and things like that. People that feel strongly even if their opinions are different than mine. So like ISU was the first place for me to really experience the real world and what it's like to be around people who don't necessarily agree with who you are or where you come from.
Illinois State University's President Larry Dietz addressed the establishment for the Multicultural Center. Information will continue to be discussed amongst the 4 divisions. Other schools also have their own center. One in particular is closer than you think.
And right down the street from Illinois State University, Illinois Wesleyan has their own Multicultural Center for diversity students to share a creative space. They can host meetings, events, and any other activities that they might want to do.
There is no set vision or whereabouts for the Multicultural Center, but the focus is to travel to local schools and communities with similar programs to gain insight.
Part of what we're asking the community to do now is we're going to set up a couple of open forums where people can come in. We're going to have opportunities for students, for faculty and staff to come and provide feedback. We're also going to talk to some community members as well. And so the first part that we really want people to do is just give us feedback and be open to coming and talking to us about what are the things that they see as important.
In about a month, a full report will be released providing more details on the Multicultural Center. I'm Ariel McGee, TV 10 News.
In about a month, a full report will be released providing more details on the Multicultural Center. How do you all feel about ISU getting a Multicultural Center?
I think it's a good idea. I think it helps promote diversity, and I think that it gives a chance for people in different races and culture to speak out and just be more open about their culture, and then it gives us who don't really know about it another chance to learn.
Yeah, I feel that. There's a huge distinction between being diverse and then being inclusive, because you can have as much diversity in the world, it could be people all over, but unless you include people and get to know people and get to know their backgrounds, there's no point to it. Like, what do you think?
Well, I think like this is like it's real important, especially it being we're at a PWI. So I feel like there's so many different cultures here, but we all don't really get to hang out with each other as much. Like you usually see the whites with the whites, the blacks with the blacks, the foreigners with the foreigners. But I feel like this will bring everybody together, so we'll make it more diverse and mixed.
I agree with that. Like, the more culture, the better. So
Yeah.
let's get that in the works. Let's get it done. I don't want this discussion to stop here, so I would like you guys to share your thoughts with us on our Twitter page at @whatshappening_.
And up next, we'll talk about the sentencing of legend himself, Bill Cosby.
I was going straight on college, and I was in the left-hand lane at a red light. So I started to go. I don't know if the other car had a green arrow beforehand or if the light turned green and they just assumed it was okay to go. But I remember seeing the other driver just kind of looking up as if it was from a phone right the second before our cars just collided. My airbag went off and my car filled with smoke and dust from it. There's no reason to text and drive. It can wait.
Love the skin you're in.
My name is Wendy Simmons. I am a media coordinator and an archivist for CBS 2 here in Chicago, WBBM television. I work with the editors and I coordinate what they edit throughout the day for the morning shows, the 4:30 to 7 and then the 11 a.m. If anything probably helped me from TV10, it would probably be time management, knowing what to do and when.
Welcome back to What's Happening.
We're back with In the Mix, looking at stories happening outside of ISU, and we're talking about Bill Cosby. He was sentenced to serve 3 to 10 years in prison, and for the drugging and sexual assault of Andrea Constand at his home 14 years ago. His bail was revoked and he was escorted from the courthouse in handcuffs. The judge in the case told Cosby, "The day has come, the time has come." Constand told police in 2005 that Cosby had drugged her and then sexually assaulted her. However, prosecutors declined to press charges at the time, and the matter was settled in civil court after a year. 10 years later, dozens of women came forward to say Cosby had drugged and sexually assaulted them. But Constand's case was the only one that was within the statute of limitations. His attorneys intend to file an appeal. So let's talk about this. What do you guys think about this? This is a lot of mess right here.
I feel as if, though, the timing was more so a plot timing because he was supposed to be getting part of the NBC, I believe. NBC, I believe that's what it's called.
I heard about that, too. I heard about that.
So I feel like the timing was to plot so that he wouldn't be able to have part of it.
You know, that's why I find a lot of people, I'm gonna say a lot of older people, because I've talked about this with people about 60 plus, and they're like, oh, it took too long this, took too long that for them to come speak out. I feel that victims can take however long as they want to come and speak out, but there is a statute of limitation, and that's why he only got booked for one. But, you know, I do kind of agree, like, maybe it was a plot, but he still did it, so he's still wrong. But, you know, the man is 80-something. Blind, I have heard. And, you know, he does have to serve his time for his wrongs, but what do you think, Ashley?
I think he just flat out wrong, and I think he did it. I do feel like it did take a long time for her to speak up, but anytime that you're sexually assaulted or raped, it's not that easy. But then you kind of go to the question of, like, can you really believe the victim? Because sometimes it's a lie. And then it does have to do with race because of the victim. So it's like, do you believe them? Do you not believe them? Do you believe him? And then he's at a point in his time frame age range where he can't really talk, you know, like express himself, express what he did, express what he didn't do. So yeah, I don't think that was fair. But
one last question. What's y'all verdict? Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
He definitely probably tried to use his fame to seduce those women and trap them.
I agree. Well, we would like to thank you, Kia, for joining us this evening. Give her a shout out, y'all.
And up next, we'll be highlighting a student who has taken her passion for fashion to another level.
TV10 News. Extraordinary news, entertainment, and website. The one and only Bloomington Normal news station can always keep you updated if you miss anything. We have the news, weather, sports, and entertainment. Love the new Your Buzz story? Share it on Twitter or Facebook with your friends. Stay in the mix with our hot conversations on Twitter. Everything right here on your very own TV10 News website.
Wow, you really know how to party.
Take a shot, man.
Nah, I gotta drive. I can't drink.
Dude, come on. Take the shot.
No, I'm done.
I'm Lacoste, and I'm a radio/TV personality. I get to travel the country and the world with Monster Jam hosting stadium events. While I was here at TV10, I knew that I wanted to learn, running a camera, editing video, and putting a story together. Well, what this taught me was to be determined and never be satisfied with something that's mediocre.
Am I saying this?
Me. Welcome back to What's Happening. The student we would like to highlight this week is Alicia. She is a fashion designer and has created her own brand, Redox, which is dedicated to creating a transparent network of fashion-minded individuals who want to uplift humankind. Let's give it up for Alicia. Hey, y'all. All right, so let's start with the questions. I just want to know how it all got started for you, like
my business or?
Yeah, let's talk about the business first.
Okay, so how it started, my sophomore year of high school is actually when I knew that I wanted to start my own business. I'm self-taught, a fashion designer, so I taught myself how to sew. I just kind of went for it, and it worked out, and I did my own line, like my senior year of high school, just like for fun type of thing. But in college is when I really wanted to get it off the ground. I knew I wanted to actually launch my business while I was still in school. So this past May, I had my first fashion show, which debuted my company, Rito Clothing, and I don't know. I mean, I've been involved with entrepreneurship for a long time, so it was just something that came naturally to me, and it was something that I knew a lot about in the past.
So what was your first shirt or design that you sewed, since you said you self-taught yourself?
Let's see. My first design that I made, I think it was a jacket. It was like a blazer. It's something that I probably would never make now. Honestly, when I make designs, I don't like them after I finish it sometimes. But it was a blazer, and then on the inside, it was like yellow and green satin.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, looking back at it now, I don't know how I did it because there is so much that I didn't know in high school.
So you know how to use a sewing machine?
Of course.
That's impressive. That is I barely know how to use a microwave, so sometimes it's just hard. But when did you realize that fashion was something that you really, really wanted to do?
Let's see. So I realized that I wanted to be involved with the fashion industry in 7th grade.
Uh-huh.
So, they did homecoming spirit weeks type of thing. So every year I would always do just some random job of just get it out the way so I could just wear jeans,
Mm-hmm.
And then one year I just decided that, I'm gonna be a fashion designer or just something for that. And then I did that, and after that day I kind of just kept looking into it and learning about all the processes and stuff like that.
So what inspired the designs that your models are wearing?
So these designs, well, this is actually just my brand tees. So the red one and the black one that looks exactly like it, that is my actual brand. And then the one in the center is the name of my collection. So it's my merch for my collection, Black.
Okay, and let me ask you something. Who is your inspiration for fashion?
Let's see. So that's hard because, I mean, I know about a bunch of different designers in the past and stuff like that, but I wouldn't say that any of them would be my inspiration. I would say that I'm my own inspiration, and learning from them gives me motivation to continue what I do.
All right, well, I would like to personally thank you for coming and joining us tonight. Let's give it up.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Next, we are coming to welcome back a talented musician. We will be back after a short break.
It's So Funny Season 2. It's So Funny is a variety show with all types of laughs, jokes, and skits. All of this is produced by Illinois State University students. The show includes weekly guests, fun segments, and a live game show. Tune in Wednesday nights at 6:30 p.m.
Tune in to It's So Funny.
It was just like any other day. I got out of class and I hopped on my bike to head home. I was approaching the intersection of Vernon and Fell Avenue, where I pass by every day, and I noticed a car approaching the stop sign. Assuming they would stop at the stop sign, I proceeded to cross the street. I soon learned that this driver was not paying attention at all, as the front end of their car knocked me onto the pavement. The person drove off without a second thought. Neuroscientists compare smartphone use to a substance addiction. Don't feed the addiction. Don't text and drive.
Time out. Before you have sex, make sure your partner always gives you consent first. Otherwise, it's rape. Consent. Pass it on.
Only 54% of college students regularly use a condom during sex, so make sure to stop by the G-Spot today to pick up your free condoms. Safe sex. Pass it on.
1 in 4 students will get an STI in college, so make sure you're scheduling regular appointments with Student Health Services. STIs. Don't pass it on.
My name is Randy Henry, producer director for WDIV TV.
I attended Illinois State 1973 to 1976. The part about, TV10, at that time we were like so primitive. I love television. I've been doing it for a long time.
My job consists of, as a director, I'm like conductor of an orchestra. I lead everybody when to talk, when not to talk, when to put them on camera. And it's called News 4 Today.
Welcome back. Our next guest plays music with a soulful vocals and dreamy guitar chords. He's a guitarist, bass set singer, songwriter, and record producer. Let's welcome Toby. Okay, so Mr. Toby, what inspired you to start playing the guitar?
Pretty much a lot of the people I was listening to when I was younger, like Jimi Hendrix, like Chuck Berry, all the old greats. The main instrument was guitar before. Like music now is more rap influenced, but back then when I was growing up, it was mainly guitar music.
And so who would you say is your biggest supporter when it comes to your music?
My friends right now, I have Caleb Taylor playing bass for me, I have Tone Up on congos. Really just the connections I made at ISU have been really helping me at the moment.
As an artist, who do you look up to that's like already famous?
Definitely Jimi Hendrix.
Can you tell me why?
At the time, it was like taboo to be an African-American musician playing a lot of rock music, which is why a lot of his supporters didn't like him at first, but then when he died, he gained notoriety.
Okay. Well, let's give it up one more time for Toby. And when we come back, Toby will share his musical talents with us. Stay tuned.
TV10 News would like to congratulate the following alumni for their nominations for Chicago Regional Emmy Awards: Jason Dolan, Eric Marshall, Patrick Lake, Lacey McCraney, Sandra Torres, Suzanne Richter, Paula Vinsack, Nathan Halder, Kevin Dolman, Cody Berquist, Don Schoenfeld, Steve Schuer, Mike Klingel, Joel Waldinger, Telly Hughes, Jordan Arsenault, and Dan Code.
Hey, have you noticed the time? Well, what are we gonna do? We're late.
Don't worry, I know a shortcut.
Not all shortcuts get you to your final destination. Don't jaywalk.
Shauna Jackson. I'm a photojournalist at Fox 4 News, KDFW in Dallas, Fort Worth. We get assigned a story and we go out and get interviews, do live shots, edit in the field sometimes, feedback the video, and then go live. TV10, I did shooting, interviews, and editing. Everything that I learned at TV10 is exactly what I'm doing.
Welcome back, everyone.
Everyone give it up for Toby.
I've been the same, haven't changed since I have played the game. Feels like I'm 3-1, stuck in space, but there is no one. Looks like I'm by myself, looking back, don't protect my health. If you haven't been there, you won't understand. Let me out, this isn't what I planned. Can't shake the feeling that I'm not good for me. Can't shake the feeling. Come on, set me free. Tonight, I ain't going out without a fight. Bob and weave, trying to get paid. Cleaning off the bar like I'm a maid. Shining light at the edge of the sun. Don't know if I should still run. Mesmerized by the beauty I seek. Will I shine and lose, or will I seek? Can't shake the feeling that I'm no good for me. can't shake the feeling. Come on, set me free. Thank you.
Well, thank you all to our guests today and our live studio audience.
Tune in on October 17th right here at 6:30 p.m. Good night, everyone.
Bye.